Hey guys, I'm Ivory. Today I'm going to be doing my Q&A that I said I wanted to do. I checked on my channel and the last time that I did a Q&A was 2 years ago. So it's been a long time, so I think it's time for another one. So in my last video, I asked you to put down some questions if you had any, and I asked you on Instagram if you were not following me, please consider doing so. I mean, if you want, no pressure. Maybe you need more time to figure out if you really like me. That's fine too. So I'm just going to read off the questions and you know how a Q&A works. I thought about doing a get ready with me, but I feel like if I did both, one of them was going to suffer. Either my questions were not going to be complete or my makeup was going to turn out horrible. So I just came on with my face already done. However, if you are curious about the products that I use, they will be listed in my description box below. So the first question, what is your favorite makeup brand? It used to be Maybelline because I loved how affordable they are, and for the most part, I really liked a lot of their products, with the exception of their eyeshadow palettes. The eyeshadow palettes are hit or miss, but as you know, last year I made the decision to no longer buy non-cruelty-free makeup, so I can't purchase from them anymore. So now it's hard to say. I want to say probably Wet n Wild or e.l.f. Those might be my favorite just because I've tried the most products from them. Also, ColourPop is another really good one, with the exception of foundations. I am not a huge fan of their foundations, but everything else from their line for the most part I really like. ColourPop, Wet n Wild, e.l.f. I like them all about the same amount. And then whenever this question comes up, I think I'm always, even if I become a millionaire somehow, I'm always going to pick a drugstore or affordable brand just because that's where I shop more often. I do not have it in me to just shop at a Sephora. I talked about this before, but I think I have financial dysmorphia. I grew up relatively poor, and when you have that mindset, it carries on throughout your years. I think it's ingrained in me at this point, so I'm always going to pick affordability over luxury. What would you eat if you were in a meeting with a friend on Zoom for lunch? So I say if it's a really good friend, all bets are off, eat anything you want. But if it's a scenario that you're a little bit self-conscious about eating in front of someone, I would say fruit, something that you could snack on. It doesn't make too much noise, and that way you can have a conversation and you could just cherry pick. And definitely nothing too hot, because I think we've all been there when you're eating something really hot and you have to fasha it, and the noises are just really unflattering. Do you have any tips and tricks for filming and editing makeup videos? I've recently started filming my own videos and would love to know how you found your own style. First of all, congratulations. Starting a channel is such an exciting thing itself. I don't know if this is their channel. Should I subscribe? I don't think this is their channel. I think this is just their commenting account. Let me know your channel so I can support you. It really takes time, and even for me, I am still figuring out what works best for me in terms of filming and editing. It is a trial and error type of thing. I would say if you're starting off, just get the basics, and then as your channel grows, then start upgrading. I do know some people that started off with very expensive equipment thinking that their channel was going to do well because they looked professional, and then they just never made it, and then they've lost all this money. So start off small. I would say a good camera. If you can't have a camera, use your phone, and then maybe a ring light. I know at the beginning when I first started off, I used a little bit of studio light, but also a little bit of natural light. But the thing about natural light is it's not consistent. So if a cloud goes over, if it's rainy and then it becomes sunny, the lighting is just not consistent. So that's why I say get some type of light source that is consistent so that your video has the same type of lighting all throughout. Just to give you an idea, I do always link my filming equipment in my description box so you could see what I'm working with. But I think it's okay to have okay lighting and then tweak it in your editing software, because even today I do still tweak my lighting when I'm editing. If you're gonna have a background and it's gonna have stuff in it, try to keep it simplistic. And if that's too much, just do what I do. Just have nothing in the background, just a plain back wall. Some people think that this is a backdrop, but it's not. It's my wall. And another great tip, if you have this type of background, give yourself some distance. There's about 3 feet behind me. Having this a little further in the background really makes the subject of the video really pop, so I stand out a little bit more. And as far as editing, always use a free one, because investing in a channel, you're gonna lose money at the beginning. So don't go crazy spending a bunch of money on things you potentially might not earn back. I forgot what I originally used. I'll put it somewhere on the screen, but I now use Adobe Premiere Pro, and I really like that software. As far as your editing style, I think that will come naturally. At the very minimum, when you edit, try to make it not too choppy, and also try to take out the ums and ahs and the long pauses. Just because your editing software may have all these different effects doesn't mean you should use it during every cut. It's not like you have to add a dissolve or a slide or something like that. So even just simply cutting the raw footage is enough, and that worked for me for a really long time. I hope that this was helpful. What is the name of the app you're using to relearn the splits? Oh my god, I deleted the app. It was splits in 30 days. I didn't get no splits in 30 days. It's a year later and I still don't know how to do the splits. So I deleted the app, but doing the splits at the end of the year is still a goal of mine. What I do now, and it actually works a lot better, is I just limber up my legs, try to touch your toes with your knees straight, and then you get on the floor, you open your legs as wide as you can, and kind of just try and stretch, that type of thing. And then I work out, whether it's step or elliptical or some type of class on TV. I do that for about a half hour so that my muscles are warmed up. And then that is when I practice doing the splits. I have these cushions. Hold on, let me go get it. I use these cushions. These are for my patio furniture. That's why they look really dirty. But I have 4 of them and I stack them. And then I put my crotch in the middle. And then once I'm comfortable, I lift my hands up and let gravity do its thing. And then I just let myself sink for about 30 seconds. And I do that for both legs. And then slowly but surely, as you get more flexible, you take one of the cushions out so that there's only 3 cushions, 2 cushions, 1 cushion, and then you can do the splits on the floor. And it's working out pretty well. I noticed the difference already. Are you doing YouTube full time now? Yes and no. I don't have another job, if that's what you're asking. Before I did YouTube, so in college, I was a nail technician throughout college and after I graduated college. And then soon after, I became a front-end software developer where I was programming, creating, and maintaining websites. There were things I really loved about my job. The things I didn't like about my job was mostly my supervisor. I left because of my supervisor. She was horrible. Without getting into it, I couldn't work under her anymore. So I left my job, and then getting a new job wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be because I wasn't sure if I wanted to go back into software development. So I was going to try other things, but I didn't have the experience. So then I was only getting positions for software development, which I was really hesitant about. And then COVID happened. And now every single time I look, there are no new open positions for really anything. Even like a receptionist job, HR, they're not open. But I do want to work again. I would love to be somewhere in the software development group, whether it's in QA or product management or web design, because I have a little bit of experience in all of those when I was a software engineer. So any of those would be great to branch off to. As far as YouTube, this has really been my only income, as well as affiliate links. It's definitely not much, but it pays for groceries. Me and Steve are very fortunate. So the last job that I worked at, I worked there first, and then Steve came on board a year or so later, also as a software engineer, but at a higher level. We were married by then. And then I left, and maybe about a year later, maybe less, Steve left. And then the next job that he got actually was almost as much as we made together when we were both working at the last company. So we're really lucky that Steve was able to get a position that made us very financially stable. And all the money that I bring in is a little bit of extra cash. It would be great if I could do this full time, but the thing is, it's really hard to grow your channel without buying lots of product. And I would feel really guilty about buying a ton of product, 1, during a pandemic, and 2, when there's only one source of income. So that's a tricky part. I would love to do this full time, but I'm not super excited about buying a ton of makeup products because that's really the only way to grow on YouTube, at least quickly. It's definitely possible to still grow doing just tutorials and not buying new products, but you grow painfully slower than you would if you just bought new products. Do you watch any Korean dramas? I do not. I actually don't like to watch TV shows because they consume my life. Once I get into a TV show, I can't do anything else that week but try and finish the show. And then I push all my other priorities to the side. So it became a problem. So that's why I don't really watch shows in general. What do you do for a living, and how long have you and your husband been together? Like I said, my current job is non-existent. I guess you could call me a professional wife and dog mom. And I've been with Steve. We've been married for over 3 years, and we've been together in total 10 years. So I was a senior in high school when we started dating. Our anniversary when we were boyfriend and girlfriend was August 9th, 2010. So 8, 9, 10, which I thought was so cute. And then we got married, and what is our anniversary? It's like June 2nd, 2017. So it's not even like a cute date. But I thought 8, 9, 10 was so much cuter. It wasn't intentional. It just happened to fall on that day. Remember the days when boys would ask you out, and it was never, will you be my girlfriend? It was always, at least in my generation, it was always, will you go out with me? And then you would say yes or no. It's weird to think that's never gonna happen to me again. Actually, Steve never asked me out. When we got together, our first ever date, I asked him, if people ask me what we are, what do I say? And he's like, you tell them that we're going out, like boyfriend, girlfriend. And he just put a label on it. Like, he never asked me to be my boyfriend. Whatever. It worked out. Okay, a dog question. Yay. Okay, this is really long, so I'm gonna condense it. 4 years ago, you got a baby Rottweiler, and he's very well trained, so then you get him a friend who is a Basset Hound, and they get along really great. And because of certain circumstances, you had to take a German Shepherd, and now all 3 of them live together, but the German Shepherd was never socialized, so it has anxiety, and it doesn't get along with your Rottweiler, and you obviously want them to get along. Okay, so one of the things I see is that you say you hate kenneling dogs. I have always kenneled my dogs. They're free roam now, but when they were younger, I always crated my dogs, and now they love it. I still feed my dogs in the crate, and I love that they love the crate. It is a safe space for them. A lot of people know that I have fosters in and out of this house, so whenever they're overwhelmed, going into the crate is a safe space for them to decompress so that they won't be bothered. So I really wouldn't be worried about that. As far as the German Shepherd not liking your Rottie, that's definitely going to take time because it takes time for animals to accept a new member into the pack. I have had fosters that don't get along with my dogs, and it was really serious. Like, they were going at it with each other. You just have to supervise them. Since it's the German Shepherd that has a problem with the Rottie, Rottie and not the other way around. Every single time the German Shepherd is around the Rottie and it's not doing anything, give him a treat and say like, okay, good boy. Something positive to say like, okay, you're around this dog and you're not reacting. You're doing really good. So they will associate the treat with not reacting to the dog. It's really one of those things where it's going to take time. I know my first dog really didn't like my second dog when I first brought her in. So it really just takes time and you just have to monitor it. You'll see really soon all the things that trigger the German Shepherd into growling or snarling at your Rottie. So catch them ahead of time, nip it in the bud and be like, no. And the same thing with the anxiety, because my first one does have anxiety. That's just something that takes time. Once you put them into situations where they're around other people, around other dogs, as long as there's a positive association and they're behaving well, give them treats. And over time that should go away, or at least be a lot better. Have you already posted a video with you and your hubby together? No, I have not. But Steve said that he would show up in a video if I ever hit 10K. So we're halfway there. I don't know what we would do though, because Steve definitely wouldn't do my makeup. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. What is your favorite childhood food? Okay, this is gonna be hard. Definitely Vietnamese cuisine. And unfortunately, there are not a lot of Asian supermarkets around me, so I can't recreate a lot of the dishes. And Steve is a really picky eater. Despite being married to me, he actually really hates Oriental food. Whenever I would have a family party, Steve would sit there and not eat. He would actually have to eat beforehand so that he wouldn't be hungry. As far as a specific dish, I would say either my grandma's egg rolls. There's a sandwich that I would eat called banh mi, where it was meat and bread, and I didn't like any of the vegetables. It would literally just be meat and bread and the sauce that goes on the bread. I really miss that because those are just comfort foods. Oh my god, now I'm craving them. When and why did you start wearing makeup? So I started sort of wearing makeup around high school. I would have like a little powder compact and I would just cover up a little bit of my acne. Fun fact, whenever I would get a powder compact, I didn't really care about the brand, but I would always get the shade Ivory because my name is Ivory. And as you know, Ivory is a very fair color and I am light medium to medium, so the shade would never match. But I figured, you know, my name's Ivory and maybe my mom named me like that because that was my shade when she birthed me. I don't know what the thought process was, but I always got the shade Ivory. So that's when I started wearing makeup. And then when I started seriously wearing makeup, I want to say it was about 5 years ago, I got my makeup done by a makeup artist for my wedding and I really didn't like the way she did it. So then I started looking at tutorials and then I found a bunch of tutorials where they would use drugstore products and it blew my mind because up until then I had pretty much completely written off drugstore makeup with the exception of foundation, but everything else I thought was bad quality. So the fact that there was good quality makeup and at an affordable price was really appealing to me. So I think planning my wedding was really what sparked it. Do you speak more languages? I speak conversational Vietnamese. I was pretty good at it when I was working at the nail salon because you're submerged in it. I definitely feel like I lost a little bit of it because I don't talk Vietnamese on a day-to-day basis, but I definitely could get back there if I put myself in that situation. Do you like other animals besides dogs? Not to have. I think I would only ever have dogs. I still think cats are cute. I love seeing animal videos like dolphins, horses, cows are so cute. Oh, and I love when other animals, like a puppy, plays with like a cow, or like when a baby meets a dog. Oh my god, those are so cute. So I do love animals, but I think I would only ever own dogs. What is your nationality or background? I was born here, but I am, for what I understand, 100% Vietnamese. What, why, how you got into makeup and ended up on YouTube? I think I explained most of that, but how I ended up on YouTube, when I came onto YouTube, I felt like there were not a lot of people who had my skin type. Oily skin, acne prone skin. The things that I was watching didn't really apply to me because they had perfect skin. So I felt like people might want to listen to someone with less than perfect skin. In the end, I really have no regrets about starting my channel whatsoever. Your smile is so bomb. Are your teeth real? And do you whiten? If so, could you share? First of all, you are so sweet. Thank you for thinking that. My teeth are real. I did have braces when I was younger. Unfortunately, I did not keep up with the retainer, so you can see my bottom ones are crooked. I have a feeling down the line I'm gonna need Invisalign or something. But luckily the tops are okay. You should have seen though when I was younger, these two front teeth, they crossed over. As far as whitening, I do whiten my teeth. Let me go get the box. This is what I use. I got it on Amazon. I will link it in my description box if you want it. It's the Crest 3D No Slip White Strips Vivid Plus. And then it has 2 treatments of the 1 Hour Express. I always keep it on a little bit longer. I only use these about once a month, only because if I use them too often, my teeth get kind of sensitive. And as far as my toothpaste, I just use Sensodyne, and I think it's the extra whitening one, but I don't know if that makes a difference. Do you do work outside of your channel? I think I've answered this, but I will say when I'm not filming or editing, it's not like I'm doing nothing. I do foster dogs and I have them about every other month. Taking care of them, training them has been quite a bit of work, and I also have my own dogs to maintain. They get a little bit stir crazy if they don't have a lot of stimulation, so I make sure to keep up with their training and walking them and keeping them active. So it's not like I'm doing YouTube and then nothing else. How are you feeling about your channel now that you've been making videos for a couple years? I don't know if I ever thought I was gonna get to 5,000 1,000 subscribers. Every milestone still to this day is a surprise to me. But growth is growth, and I feel like I'm doing okay. You mentioned watching Disney movies. Do you have a favorite? Mulan and Tangled are mine. I love Mulan. Mulan is one of my favorites. I think out of all of them, Beauty and the Beast is the one I've watched the most. It's easier for me to actually say what movies I didn't like from Disney. Princess and the Frog, I didn't really like that much. Alice in Wonderland, I didn't like. I don't really like any of the live actions. And I actually just saw Soul, and I thought it was okay, but I didn't like it that much. One of my favorites now that I'm older that don't have a nostalgic feel to me, Wreck-It Ralph is probably one of my favorites. I also love Moana, and I also really liked Frozen, but not Frozen 2. I mean, the singing in Frozen 2 was good, but the storyline was no. But like I said, it's easier to list off the ones that I didn't like because I really almost like all of them. Like even Tangled, the one that you said. I love Tangled. I love The Incredibles, Monsters Inc., Toy Story. This could go on forever. For genres, what is your preferred for watching or reading? For reading, I like scary or dramatic. One of my favorite books is A Thousand Splendid Suns. I liked Kite Runner too. The Lovely Bones was a good one. As far as watching, so if I don't want to pay attention too much, I'll either watch a rom-com or something like a C- type of movie. That way I could be on my phone and like sort of pay attention to the TV. I think my least favorite genre of watching TV, whether it's a movie or a TV show, probably is horror. Just because when I watch TV, I'm trying to relax and decompress. So watching a horror movie or a thriller, it makes me all tense, and that's not how I want to feel. Because even when I finish watching the show, I'm like, I don't feel relaxed at all. But in terms of TV shows and movies, I would say what I lean most towards is comedies, rom-coms. I mean, Friends is my favorite TV show. Parks and Rec I really liked. Me and Steve still watch King of Queens at night. We also watch Malcolm in the Middle, My Wife and Kids. When are the babies coming? I get this question all the time. So me and Steve decided if we're gonna have kids, we only want one. Preferably a girl, but at the end of the day, whatever happens, happens. But we only want one. But knowing my luck, I'm gonna have like octuplets or something. Even though it doesn't run in either of our families, it's just gonna happen. But we are having the baby talk. Steve has been talking about babies for years. For a long time, I said I didn't want kids. Now I'm warming up to it, but any mothers out there, can you tell me, like, how do you know you want to be a mom? Because to some people it's like, oh, I've always known I've wanted to be a mom, and then some people it's like something just kind of snapped into me and was like, I need to have a baby. And I haven't had that. Like, I'm warming up to it, but I'm still hesitant. So I don't know what type of aha moment I'm supposed to have, if I'm supposed to have one. Maybe you're just always scared shitless. I don't know. But I will say I'm 28 right now. I said the earliest I would have a baby is 30. So I'll leave it there. Pineapple on pizza or no pineapple on pizza? I like pizza and I like pineapple. I do not like pineapple pizza. That is not an acceptable topping to me, but I would gladly have pizza and then maybe as a dessert, I would have pineapple. That is fine, but never on top. Is it hard to grow on YouTube? It really depends. For me, it is because it's really hard to grow when I don't buy a lot of makeup. A lot of the things that made the beauty community popular, like tutorials, eyeshadow looks, like how-tos, project pans, they're not popular anymore. I see so many people say like, oh, I would love if more beauty YouTubers just used the product that they have and weren't so into consumerism, but at the same time, they don't watch these videos. So it's like, why would I make these videos when no one really watches it? So I think, at least in my experience, I'm only speaking on my experience, it is a little bit harder to grow when I don't have a lot to review, because I notice a lot of these spikes on my channel happen when I review a product that came out very recently. And I am not comfortable buying tons and tons of product and not going through everything. It just makes me really uneasy and it just seems so wasteful. And on the financial side of things, it's like I'm already in the negatives. So is the product that I'm gonna buy make that money back? Otherwise, I'm just gonna sink myself even lower. So to me, it's not worth it. So I am very particular about the launches that come out and whether or not I really want to buy them. So many people have said that the growth is exponential. Like once you have more subscribers, you also gain more subscribers. Like it's easier to gain them. I don't know if I believe that. I feel like I've been pretty consistent. So I'm waiting for that to happen because it ain't happened yet. That is it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed. And if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and feel free to comment down below what other types of videos you'd like to see from me. I love these types of videos where I'm just talking to you guys. So if you have any suggestions, please let me know. I could do story times. I was thinking about incorporating those, so please let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!